this ramp and these little stairs by it. And so we get out of this limo and we walk up this ramp, and the garage door goes up, and we walk through. It's just a cluttered mess of boxes and stuff like that. And then he takes me into this hall that leads to the CEO's office, right? And so we go into the office unannounced, just walk into it. There's a real relaxed atmosphere, and this guy standing there, and we both, our eyes just catch each other, and I knew the whole thing had nothing to do with this job, that it was something spiritual that was set up. And he knew it too, but I didn't know that he knew it. Moments later, we're shaking hands, and it's just this kind of a energy vibration going on. And I just thought it was the most peculiar situation I had ever encountered. And so he said, hey, why don't you take a tour and all that, and a little later we'll go, at the end of the day, we'll go get something to eat. Well, heck, it was already 4, man. I was ready to eat now. And so I go off and take a tour and everything, and then about 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock is when he's shut down. And so the CEO comes in there, and he hunts me down. He says, oh, you ready to go? I'm like, yeah. And so we go and we get in his limo. That was his limo this guy was driving. And he drives across town. We had to go to the hotel first, and they got me this room at this really nice hotel. And then we go to this famous bar where they serve steaks and burgers, but it's a famous bar because all the Dallas Cowboys go in there. And so we're sitting there. We're standing at the bar in line to go get a seat, a table. And we find out that we have all these similarities. Now, this guy is 15 years older than I am. But he just coached Little League football in Dallas. What age group? Freshman in high school. What did they accomplish? Yeah, Dallas championship, right? Well, Dallas is a little bit bigger than Tucson, Arizona, but not by much. Tucson's, about at that time was 750,000. And what had I just finished? Coaching my third year, third straight city championship for Tucson, Arizona. It was crazy. Here's another one that was similarities. Both of us were invited to go to this big championship thing. And we both turned it down because our kids had better things to do. I mean, it's time to play football, and then it's time to live your life. And so, yeah, we both had Coach of the Year, all sorts of stuff. And it was really cool. And it just kept going like that. We both used to drag race when we were 17, 18 years old. We both played football. We both were recruited by Northwest Louisiana State, and but he was a dozen years or so ahead of me. It was some crazy irony, and so we go and we sit down, folks, and it's just kind of my head spinning about all this stuff, and we sit down and we're just quiet, and this guy by the way. This guy's name is Alan Flowers. Flowers, like the flower, but plural, and Alan was his first name. I will never forget it because this man changed my life. And and I owe him my soul. I owe him my soul. This guy stepped out for me, a nobody, a snot-nosed young guy that thought he had the world by the brass balls. And he told me the truth. And the interesting thing was, and I won't go clear into the story, but we're sitting there and not saying anything, and then I look up at him, and his eyes are just piercing, man. I mean, just riveting. And we're at this tiny little table, and folks, you don't know, but there's like 300 people in this place. In a bar in Dallas, Texas, it was just, you couldn't even hear yourself think. And all of a sudden, everything gets dark except his face. And he starts talking. And for the next 4 hours, he talks. And I do nothing but listen. But here was the crazy stuff. I didn't know, but I had 1,000 questions about God and about the Bible and about all these spiritual things, because I was kind of going in that direction, trying to figure things out. Because one thing I found out is when you sure aren't going to get the truth in college. I mean, I came out and it's like, okay, wow, what a waste that was. I mean, it didn't give me a sense of anything, right? And so he starts telling me nothing but the answers to all my inner questions. Just blah, 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 blah. That was one. Blah, 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 blah. That was the second one. And he just starts hammering them one after another. There's no extra words, folks. He's not going, well, and then, this and that. No, he just gives me the answers one after another for 4 hours. Now it gets 1 o'clock in the morning. And he sits back. And I sit back, and our food is stone cold. We didn't even know they brought us food. And so anyway, I responded with a particular response, and the guy wept. Now, this guy is a CEO of the largest TV stereo appliance rental company in the world. It's huge, unbelievable. And they were in Europe, they were everywhere, and this was their number one store, and it was unbelievable. They had like 100,000 customers. It was through the roof, and they had 20 some guys that did nothing but call on the phone for people that couldn't pay their bills. I mean, just endless like that. And so anyway, it was pretty fascinating. But this guy was Alan Flowers, and folks, what he told me was just meant for me, and it's meant for a few people, and I hope that someday you figure it out. But it's so profound, and it's so obvious, and I shared a couple of things with you of that, a couple, and they were the profound deal. But I can't tell you the whole thing because you need to figure that out. But I'm telling you, the God of the Old Testament is not the creator of the universe. It's too obvious. Just go look and listen to my show on the 18th. And the other thing, stop using a blood sacrifice to get yourself into heaven. That's what you're doing. You have fallen for the grand old deception. You need to look at the message that was brought by the Christ, not the blood that was spilled. You don't need the blood. Otherwise, you're no better than that Mayan peasant or that Egyptian peasant going to the priest with blood sacrifice. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Talk to you tomorrow. Maybe.
You've been listening to Don't Tread on Me radio show. Don't forget to subscribe to the top 10 news stories each day and listen to show archives at don'ttreadonme.tv. The guys will see you again tomorrow.